GM everyone. I'm going to take a second to get the Zoom set up for those watching the stream, and then we'll get started. I guess we'll get started before it starts, or if I can get it up, because unfortunately it is taking a minute to load for me. First up, we got H-Pain and marketing. GM H-Pain.
Yeah. Good morning. I had to find the jump on stage button real quick. How are you doing this morning, Ron?
Tired. How are you?
I'm just doing peachy. It's been a, been a good time. Anyways, moving into moving into last week. It was actually sort of cool, even though Pendo was down. I did the took the liberty of extrapolating some data, and apparently app usage, or at least visitors through Pendo, grew about 15% from 4,824 weekly visitors to 5,500 last week. Pendo was down for a day. The way I sort of got to those numbers, took an average of the daily visits over 6 days, and then did, or maybe my math was a little off, just around 5,000. So it's good to see growth. But Pendo was down, so sort of took a guess stab at that number, but it's good to see that moving in the right direction as we sort of plunk away at this. Speaking of this week we have office hours, the final office hours from the marketing work stream. In this 6 month, feels like a year-long sprint we've been doing, please, I implore you all to stop by and listen to the cool things, that marketing's been doing, but also that your friends and fellow foxes have been up to this past year and 6 months. It'd be a good chance to appreciate everyone, and I think everyone in marketing um, it would feel really good to have one last chance to speak about the things we've been doing. So that's super cool. So please stop by. That is on Wednesday at 10 p.m., 10 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Mountain. Last of the things happening this week is we are prepping for Thorchain Savers. This community lunch on Wednesday, we have some peeps from Thorchain stopping by just to say hi, that you see our people in our community can ask questions and just sort of hear more about what savers mean coming to our app. So please tell your friends to stop by. Our community lunch is moving forward, specifically this one if they want to learn more about some of the Thorchain stuff. And also, marketing is sort of to operate in a lean fashion. We want to make sure that everyone is a marketing contributor here. So please, as a reminder, please retweet and like all official account tweets. It's super helpful. It really helps, even if it feels like a huge burden. We're all in this together. We're all sort of making this work, and every little bit counts and helps a lot. Last couple things: fixing and filing up ETH Denver stuff with Gray Machine and other peeps and shocks. It's been really great to get that across the board and done. Uh, you know, Taking our lessons and bumps and bruises and wins where we are, and it's good to get that almost done. Last thing, Archeo airdrop messaging. Looking forward to get some one pagers that you guys can then post around for official information regarding the airdrop, because I know there's been lots of questions around that. So stay tuned. Looking forward to an awesome week, and see you guys around.
Thanks, H-Pain. Next up, we got the Smith and Globalization. GM the Smith.
Hola, GM. What's up, PPT?
Just enjoying this beautiful Monday morning. How are you?
Yeah, it is a beautiful Monday around here. We are approaching the summer. Actually, we are in the Brazilian summer, so we have a lot of sun for at least the next 3 months. So yeah, beautiful day today around here. Quick updates for globalization. SCP-122 goes live this week. We are just doing some adjustments on the proposal text, and we do need to talk to some people and understand their concerns. So we are working on that. Second, we'll keep pushing both accounts on Twitter, the Brazilian one and the Spanish. We experienced a growth there due to the RQ announcement. So we have not good numbers there. We are aiming more, and our goal is double both numbers. Under 30, the Brazilian LinkedIn is reaching 350 subscribers. So I guess we are able to perform some global talent research there. If the DAO wants, we can work around global talents on LinkedIn. Also, the globalization workstream applied for a Cosmos grant aiming educational onboarding DAO validators. So we are waiting to produce content and place in our agenda some educational meetings for this grant. Hopefully it get approved. Number 5, RTO support on globalization socials and content. So we started to follow up RTO and Martin content and publishing it on global socials. We had a good visibility. So that's why our Twitter subscribers increased from last week to this week. The number 6 is follow up with Ethereum, Denver merge providers, and Martin content calendar. As far as I know, Vlad is dealing with some merchandising too, so he's ready to go to Denver. So we are dealing this week with all this stuff. And our usual weekly translation flow in 7 languages. And that's all for globalization for this week. Thank you.
Thanks, Smith. Next up, we got Jankin and the Mod Squad. GM Jankin. Maybe. Is Jankin in here? I don't see him. All right, I'll read it off then. User 7 days, 186. 14 days, 254. 30 days, 356. 0 raids, and maybe they're getting smarter. Next up, we got Diggy and the product team. GM Diggy.
GM Ron. Happy Monday, everybody. Yeah, I'm going to cover product and engineering. Wherever we're planning to do a soft launch this week, provided everything is buttoned up and testing smoothly. We are working on that through the RQO spec and a landing page for information around the airdrop inside of app.shapeshift.com. And then eventually that spec will lead into airdrop claiming and how it fits into the product roadmap. UX for display DeFi positions, Willie, myself, and Beard started really digging in deep on this last week in preparation for that feature. There's a lot we have to work through and a lot we want to usability tests, and it's a pretty massive feature. So yeah, started working on that pretty early. And then we're working through some UI updates for Savers Vaults based on feedback from the ThorChain team. And then analytics, yeah, as H. Payne mentioned, it was down for a day last week. Something changed on their side upstream. We fixed it. It's working well, but now again, it's fine. But we had like 24 hours where we didn't have any data. And then we're still reviewing some alternative vendors to try to get the costs down. PTT, you already know this, but we were last time with Pendo, it was $39K for the year. We were able to get them down to $15K, but we're trying to see if they could go any lower. And again, we met with another guidance provider last week. Their product offering wasn't that compelling, but we're still working through this and trying to see, look at all the different avenues for how we can get those costs down. And then sunsetting Zendesk, just so you guys know, like there's a lot of links on shapeshift.com. So Gray and Hoffer like working together to go through and scrub all of those old links. And then starting on the spec for bridging. And then engineering Savers Vaults, like I mentioned, there's some UI changes, and then Gomes is tackling some remaining pieces. If you want to see specifically, you can look on GitHub or on the Go No Go sheet. He's started already filling in information there. Osmosis, the final piece is LP, just waiting on some user-facing pieces from Pasta to be able to test that. And then Optimism, the layer 1 fee estimation is in place, and the fee fix in Blockbook is in progress from Kevin. Also, just a quick update there, the BSC nodes are already syncing. 7 out of 25 million blocks have synced already, so we're kind of estimating around the end of the week for the BSC nodes to be synced. And then Wallet Connect V1 dApps, this is merged on develop and ready for testing. And then just a reminder that we have the engineering sync up this afternoon to go over the tasks for this week. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Diggy, for those updates for product and engineering. Next up, we got Tyler and the operations team. GM Tyler.
GM Ron and GM FoxFam. Updates from operations this week. We've got a new thread for marketing feature releases. So follow that if you're looking for any details around information about what's coming out this week and how it might relate to our marketing communication around that. We've got office hours this week. Last week we had a pretty heavy, 2 weeks ago, hearty conversation around bounties that ended up kind of spilling out into a greater conversation around vision. There are 2 threads for each of those. The bounties one right now has kind of basically come to a close with where the DAO is still at bounties right now. If people would like to pick up that conversation with suggestions, there's some information on where we kind of left the conversation off and where we might be looking for more input in that thread. And the vision one is kind of similar. Maybe we'll have some wrapping notes around those. We might potentially pick up another parking lot conversation, or we might just let it all rest for a week because it was a big week of conversations. Triage report, we had 3 issues reported, 1 resolved, 1 related to UI UX, 2 related to trade DeFi, and we're trying this new thing called the known issues channel. It's just inside the support workstream of Discord. This is basically the next evolution of unsolved user problems and a much more palatable and asynchronous repo. So if there are ever any issues that are discovered through the triage process that have troubleshooting steps or are known that are currently live in prod that are maybe going to take a little bit before like a quick active fix, we have documentation around them, and it is going to be continually shared and listed inside the known issues channel. Right now you can see there are 3 known issues as well as documented workarounds. So this is a hope that people who reach out through support tickets might be able to see commonly reported issues and the troubleshooting steps without needing to take any extra cycles to help them. So yeah, keep your eyes there, and ops and the moderation team will continue to keep that channel updated with live issues. The goat farm's back. We've got Osmosis. We're doing an async go-no-goat. Diggy mentioned that earlier. That thread is listed there on our Ops Sprint sheet. If you'd like to find it, you can also find that in Engineering Public. We're doing this hopefully completely asynchronous with no meetings. I will be poking some people around progress or details on line items, and we hope to be able to get to a full go there soon and at least give an updated ETA once available. There's also one that is a little bit further out in the distance of Thorchain Savers, and right now it's a party at Gomes, but we should be having some more people fill in there shortly. As far as PRs this week, we actually increased a lot from 8 last week to 45 this week. And 3 repos by 10 contributors, also a massive increase. I think a lot of that is due to the osmosis work that we're pushing to get out the door. 0 bounties, 0 closed again because we are currently have the bounty program on ice. This operation workstream is in renewal right now, the ideation phase. And there's 1 more day to vote. It closes tomorrow morning. If you haven't voted yet, please check out our link at Snapshot, plug in your wallet, and vote. Thanks, make it a good GM.
Thank you, Tyler. Next up, we got Kent and Tokenomics. GM, Kent.
GM Ron and GM Fox fam out there. Hope everybody had a good weekend. So let's see what's happening in tokenomics. For starters, Q1 and Q2 has been officially approved as of yesterday via Snapshot by a ratio of about 95% to 5% yes to no. So thank you to everyone who voted. Really excited to just continue to move forward on the tokenomics front in the first half of the year. Tomorrow's session, again, that's 11 o'clock Mountain. We'll be talking about some of the usual topics, including, of course, Runway, which is, I would say, in an unusual amount of flux right now, just because of all the proposals going back and forth, different variables to factor in. Last week, we talked about infrastructure spending and how that impacted or will impact the Runway. So I'm just trying to keep everybody apprised and keep that spreadsheet as up to date as possible. One thing I'm not doing is making any assumptions moving forward based on proposals that have yet to be approved. But really, kind of where we're at is similar to the or what you see in the spreadsheet is similar to the current state of things, and I think how they're likely to shake out after the proposals. But we'll be keeping that up to date. We're also going to hear from Future. which with a PH sounds like a good rapper name. Maybe it is. I'm so out of touch. But Future is a DeFi project that aims to offer yield generating possibilities on stable coins. They had reached out in the forum and here on Discord about us maybe putting some USDC in there from our stable stack. I let them know that that was probably a non-starter based on the TMDC's approach, just because the TMDC is not going to take risks with our stable stack. However, there could be implications there for like Yieldy, USDC Yieldy, and other things. So we'll be hearing from them. It's also just always good to hear from different projects. Of course, recently we heard from Lido and everybody else that was involved in that recent integration that we had. Also, in terms of Arbor, the TMDC just voted to redeem the remaining tokens from that prior offering, essentially burning them and getting the Fox back. However, moving forward, Arbor could be fertile ground for other types of integrations. Oh, it was idle finance. Sorry, I was blanking. That we recently had there. And then finally, looking ahead to Wednesday, we have a big strategy session at 3:30 Mountain. Again, this will be pertaining not to tokenomics directly, but kind of more DAO-wide strategy. Strategy stuff. This will be a bit of an outgrowth of and continuation of the strategy session we did at the DAO retreat, and then we'll also have some other perspective as well about other things. But again, the theme here is sort of big picture, broader direction, 30,000-foot view stuff. So stay tuned for that, and everybody have a kick-ass week.
Thank you, Kent. Next up, we got the Fox Foundation, Willie Fox, and Ocean. GM guys.
GM Ron, GM Ocean.
Hey, good morning. I don't have, sorry, I need to pull up the sheet, but I think the few updates that we do have, Adam's working on a bunch of the accounting mechanisms for the RKO airdrop, working on some of the claiming mechanisms actually on the RKO chain itself. And we're also continually working on SCP-113 to facilitate the transfer of all of the accounts outlined there. And we're pretty close to complete with that. I think we have 3 or 4 remaining accounts that need to be transferred, or at least confirmed that workstream leaders with 1 year or more tenure have access, and that will complete that transfer, which is wonderful to see the DAO taking more control of its accounts.
All right, and this one's not directly Foundation related, but wanted to give the update that the Cosmos multisig has been created as per SCP-110. So we've received the atoms that the DAO had been earning since November, which had just Taxi Stake had been holding on to until this multisig was created. And those should be delegated this week. We got a transaction queued up to actually delegate those atoms to the ShapeShift DAO validator. And that will actually be a new revenue stream for the DAO, starting off at single-digit thousands per year, but then we'll continue growing each week as we earn more atoms and delegate that to the ShapeShift DAO validator. We're also working through the Thorchain multisig next as part of that proposal that passed a while ago to do a token swap and joint LP. So we'll hopefully have that ready to go soon. Also, wanted to share some good news that our email reputation has improved to the highest levels, which is a big feat, and will ensure that we have the best deliverability for these emails we're sending out to remind native wallet holders to back up their seed phrase. So that's a huge milestone, and I want to give props to HPain and Arena for all the help they've done on that front. And that's all.
Awesome. Thank you both for those updates. Now will be the time if anyone else has a question to raise their hand, or if they want to type in stage chat, I can read it off. Else, give everyone a few minutes back and call it a good GM. Like we're going to call it a good GM. GM all.